What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. It's been a long while, and as you can see, I'm in my old setup. I'm still rocking with the shirt, the unironed shirt, and the tie as always. This is a new tie I got. I like it, but the only problem is it's quite thin. Yeah, but today I want to talk about how it is your fault that your relationship fell apart. This does not concern everybody, but if you listen to me and if you relate to this, you might understand a bit more and maybe share my view, or you might not. And if you don't, that's fine as well. I'm just a guy on the internet. I don't rule your world. I don't rule your relationship. I won't tell you how to act, right? I'm just trying to give my perspective on this and my experience on this and the experience I got while talking to my friends about this. Let's get right in. I want to talk about how it might be your fault that your relationship fell apart. Sorry. Um, and how that could be is that we have this idealized version of our partner, of our friend. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, right? And we have that idealized version of them in our heads. And when they don't meet those criteria, when they don't act the way we want them to act, when they don't act the way we think they would act, you know, it hurts us, or we feel like no longer in control, or we feel as if it's just not right. But personally, the conclusion I came to with this type of behavior is that's just egotistical behavior, right? Because you're projecting this image that you have in your head onto someone else. And if you don't know them that well, or if you're just getting to know them on a deeper level, as it is in relationships, right? You're just projecting these images onto them, and it's just not right. And of course, it will hurt you, but that suffering is self-inflicted, right? It's self-caused and self-inflicted. So it doesn't feel right to you, and that relationship doesn't feel right to you, even though that suffering and that it's your fault, right? And it's this hard concept to grasp that even after the relationship, you still have that ideal version in their heads, in your head, sorry, and you think, yeah, they're gonna be like this, and yeah, they're gonna be like that, but it's just not like that, right? And that's a not extreme case, but that can be one form of it, right? The other type of way this could go is just like you have that version in their head, and you see that they're not acting accordingly. Like you can have your standards, for example, right? Not a idealized image or idealized version of them, of a partner, but you have a certain image and certain standards, right, of how they should act. And when you see that they do not correlate to these standards and these boundaries and these, just they don't behave like a partner would behave, right? You're just standing there or sitting there listening to them like this, blind to all the red flags, and you just don't accept it. A nice example of this is a good friend of mine. He just got out of his relationship of 2.5 years, because after, like, for the first time in 2.5 years, he actually talked about how that relationship was draining him, and it was draining for him since the beginning, right? Or since the earliest of times in their relationship. And he just told us now. And we were wondering, how have you endured it for so long? And why do you not see that these things are not good for you? And he's like, yeah, I just kind of went with it. But he's been hurting, and yes, he saw how his girlfriend was not, acting and holding up the standard of being a girlfriend, and just being not, we don't want to say evil, but just a bit manipulative and controlling. And still, like, why did you just not see that, right? Why do you have that version in your head that everything will go well and that they love you and everything? Because of course, when you're in a relationship, you don't often go into a relationship with someone that doesn't love you, right? Or you never do, basically. So yes, they do love you, but they can't fulfill your needs, and they just can't. Some people just are not meant for a relationship, right? And so it's egotistical as well to think of them in a way that, yeah, I mean, I see that they did me wrong. I see that they cannot love me, right? I see that they're like a bit controlling and a bit manipulative, but still I love them. Still, I think things will better in the future, right? You see these things that hurt you, and you continue to keep letting them hurt you. So you're suffering, you prolong your own suffering because staying doesn't feel right, but never speaking again just doesn't come to your mind, right? And it's the same exact situation I've been in. Another case of this, it doesn't always have to be a relationship, right? Another case could be, for example, in a friendship, right? I have this lovely friend. I love him dearly. I really do. But a big problem with him was that when he met certain people, he would idealize them and sorry, not idealize, idolize them rather, and he'd see them as his role model, right? As his role models, and he would hold them to extreme standards, the same standards he held himself to, which is totally fine, right? Of course, some are unrealistic and whatever, but it's nice to have like good standards for yourself. But he was projecting his extreme standards onto other people, and when those people didn't meet them, he was like very, very, how should I say this? Not mean, but like disaffectionate to them. He would he would just not like them out of nowhere. They would be wondering like what could have happened in like 1 or 2 weeks time, because like they didn't know what was happening and why they were being judged, or why they were being seen as a bad person, as he would say himself, that they are bad people or whatever, right? But the standards he was holding them to were his own standards. So I'm not saying you don't need standards for your friends, for your partners, but projecting your standards onto someone else is just a bit extreme. And yes, I'm contradicting myself by saying you need a bit of standards for your partner and everything, but I mean, those who have been in a relationship will hopefully understand what I mean. If you don't, honestly, please let me know. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy on YouTube just yapping in a suit and in a shirt and with shirt and tie. I can't speak, for God's sake. Sorry. So just let me know what you think. But I think that it is some of our own fault that that relationship with a partner, with a friend, just isn't the same anymore and is going to end or has ended already. If you don't agree, let me know. I'm just excited to be doing this again. And take care. I love you. You will be fine. Spread love, and love will find you back. Take care.